And we are live. It says we're live. I don't see my live button, but it says you're live.
Looks like it. Yep.
Okay. One second. I think I have to do something on my Instagram. Well, welcome to. Hold on. I want to make sure. Well, anyway, welcome. I'm so excited to be here with Michelle V. It is a beautiful Monday morning, and we are here because Michelle is starting a revolution. And I think we all need to hear what kind of a revolution. And I'm very curious to learn about. Well, first, before we get to the revolution, Michelle is part of, well, a founder and the owner of Inspired Speakers Network, and she has been inspiring speakers and getting them on stage and out of their shells. And now she's here to start a revolution. So, Michelle, the stage is all yours. Please do tell all about the revolution.
Why, thank you so much, Anna. Yes. So like you said, I do have the Inspire Speaker Network. That's where I met Anna, and I connect speakers to stages and help them get on platforms through that network party. So feel free to join us anytime. But in that, I was realizing that speakers, usually the reason that you want to be a speaker is because you have got a movement inside you. You not only do you have a message, but you have this movement inside you where you want to see things change in the world. So whether that's in health or business, or I can just see, what really fired me up about this revolution was I see what's coming in the world. And if you pay attention to the cycles of the world, we're really entering this age of war and revolution that's coming, which we've seen it already happening. We've already seen it happening, right? That is coming. And there's a lot of things that really need to be revolutionized in terms of sustainability, education, government, right? Like there's health, right? There's like our health system. There's so many different spaces right now that need to have a revolution. Housing, I see a lot of women especially called to the housing crisis and providing affordable housing. So there's just so much that our world needs right now. There's so many revolutions that really need to happen right now in our world to make it a better place. And I love working with people who have that movement inside them and who really feel called to do something, to change something, who say this is not what it should be like. And what I'm calling for, though, is a joyful revolution, because we were just having a conversation. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to see more bombs. I don't want to see more guns. I don't want to see more war. What I want to see is a revolution where people come together, where we help each other, where we come together in unity. We build revolutions that bring love and light and joy into the lives of everybody around us. So I'm out here looking for people who want to create movements, speakers who want to change the world, and you want to do it in a way that is going to bring joy to the world.
Oh no, it happened again. We are lagging. Oh, here we go. You're back. You're back. Well, so what does it take to start a revolution or to be a part of a revolution, a movement? What does it take to start a movement?
Yes. So I think, Anna, whenever I started, I originally started my business as a health coach. And I remember thinking at one point, wow, I want to do more. I want to run workshops. I want to be a speaker. I want to get out there and have this movement. But at the time, I thought, I can't do that. Like, I don't have a big audience. Who's going to listen to me? I don't know if I'm a very good speaker. Am I good enough? And so whenever you have these big ideas that come into your head, when you see something that needs to be changed, I think a lot of times you and we hide because we're like, oh, well, that's put it on the shelf for later. That's going to happen later because I need this, this, and this in order to get started. And really, that's what originally held me back was, oh, well, I don't have the audience. I don't have whatever I need. So I think you as a speaker and as someone who has a movement in your heart, you actually inherently understand what we need. We inherently understand what do we need to have in order to create a movement. And it's just 3 simple things. First, you have to have a movement, right? You have to have a revolution. You have to declare, what is my message? What is the movement that I want to create? And have that super clear, which is actually kind of the part that a lot of us struggle with, is how do you articulate that? What do you do? But what you have to have a movement. The second thing that you need is, and with that, obviously you're speaking to other people. So you got to be able to have a voice that you're going to speak that movement out to other people. The second thing that you'll need is to be a leader, to step into that leadership role. And Anna and I, in our conversation, you were talking about helping speakers, and whenever you help them get on stage, you tell them, okay, who are you going to be? Whenever you step out on that stage, you need to step into essentially your speaker role, your leader role, where you're going to go out there and you're going to be a speaker on that stage, and you're going to teach them certain things. So we talked about this as well, but really, if you think of Ghandi, MLK, the Malalas, the Mother Teresas, like all these really beautiful, joyful leaders that we've had in the past, what made them a great leader? And I would love to hear this in the comments for anybody as well. What made them a great leader? What is it that we actually admire about those people? And whenever I ask that question on my calls with people or in my events with people, they'll say stuff like, they're determined, they're unstoppable, they're so kind, they're so compassionate, right? They had a vision. And really, whenever everybody starts listing it out, it's all of their attributes that they're listing. So it's not necessarily about the movement. I mean, we admire all of their movements and what they were able to create, but the reason we admire that is because they were the leader. They were a compassionate, loving, kind, unstoppable. They had these attributes in them that made them a great leader. And I think whenever we step out on the speaking stage, sometimes we think, we don't always think about, hey, I am who I am for a reason. And am I becoming the leader that I need to be to build this revolution, right? Am I becoming the leader that can lead a revolution like this? And if you have any questions, and it's not about like, oh, are you good enough? It's about having this real conversation with yourself about what is it that I need to have in place in order to make that happen. So I don't know, Anna, have you seen on, I think it's on Amazon Prime, they have this video that's called A Million Miles Away. And have you seen that video?
I haven't.
It's about an astronaut, and he's the first Mexican. He's from Mexico, I believe. He's this first Hispanic astronaut that went up in space. And whenever he was a child, he's actually a migrant worker. So his family is dirt poor. They're just following the jobs around. So in the summer, they would work in one place. In the winter, they'd work another place. So he's just a super poor migrant worker who wanted to be an astronaut, and everybody laughed at him. But at one point in the show, his wife sits there and asks him, and she says, what do they have that you don't have? Right? So seriously sitting down and saying, what do they have that you don't have? And then let's do whatever it takes in order to get that for you so that you can get your goal. So he's listed stuff like, for him, it was like, okay, well, they're pilots and they've done scuba diving and they speak Russian and they, and he just like listed it out, and then he started to work on it. So it's about really stepping into that leadership role. And then the third thing is actually having someone to lead, right? If you're going to have a movement, then you need to have a community or people that you can actually move, right? That'll move with you. That will be your supporters, your biggest fans, that you're holding the rallying cry, and they're going to follow with you and make it happen with you. And so those are the three, that's the long end of the story, but those are the three big things: is how are you going to move your movement forward if you don't have a community that you're speaking to or that you're bringing with you in this movement.
Wow, that is so cool. I took notes. So the clear message, the voice of a leader, and then the community. Those are very powerful. Those are very powerful elements. Simple yet simple, and very powerful. So how did you get to the idea of a revolution? There is So other things that you've been doing, and then we kind of jumped into the revolution because it is something that on your mind, it is something that it is something that you're excited about, and I wanted to get that to the top. But then
Yes.
how did you get
Sorry,
to
we
the
had a little delay.
revolution? Yeah,
So
so now we kind of like going a little bit of a backwards of you telling us how did you get here.
for sure. Yeah. So I mentioned a little bit starting as I think I got here how most people get here, right? You have life experience, and then someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, can you teach me how to do that?" Right. And in college, high school and college, I actually had such terrible digestion. By the time I was in college, I was down to eating only 5 foods because I literally had a food sensitivity to everything else. And I had just, what eventually came out was I had stressed myself sick so badly. And so I went on this journey of health and figuring that all out. It took me 20 years, but I reversed all of my food sensitivities. And then people were asking me, how did you do this? You're a healthy eater. Teach me how to eat healthy. And so that's really where my movement started out. And then I've always kind of done events and speaking on the side. And I said, I want to do workshops, which really led me into speaking. And then with the speaking, it was really God just said to me, why are you holding on to that when I'm about to give you so much more? And really, he was calling me to be a speaker and to help other people learn how to speak and to build their movements. It really took me 2 years to figure out what he wanted me to do. Like, what was he calling me to do? And so it's kind of been me trying some things out, helping people with their speaking. What am I doing when I'm helping them with their speaking? What does that really mean? Why is it important to me? And so the last several weeks, I've really just been really getting into what is it, what do I care about? What do I stand for? What's my message? What's my voice? What's important to me? And I shared all of that about I just really see people being called to the preparation of there's something coming. There's something coming, and there's plenty of things happening right now that aren't in position for what's coming. So what happens, and it sounds like kind of dark and down, but the reality is we have lived in this beautiful bubble of prosperity for so long, and there's stuff's coming, right? Stuff's coming our way. There's recession, there's revolution. They've talked about how our monetary system could entirely collapse. We just always know something is coming in the future. And so I just feel so called to the preparation. And I really feel that what we need in this next generation is unification, not domination or isolation like we've had. That if you think about what really is going to stand when everything else falls, if our monetary system collapsed, if war started ravaging, if like any of these crazy things happened that we talk about that could potentially happen, what's left? It's just you. For me, it's your relationship with God, right? That's who we have. And we have our relationship with ourselves. Because in the end, if everything else crumbles around us, we still have our minds, we still have our voices, and we still have our relationships with ourselves. And I really believe that right now we've been in this age of information, but I really believe the next age is the age of influence. Because we have the ability now more than ever in the entire world's history to grab our microphone, just like we're doing right now, jump on Instagram, jump on YouTube. You have the opportunity to grab your microphone and to get in front of people. And if you see something that needs changed in the world, then the people that are going to be able to enact that change are the ones with the biggest microphones. And if you look at people, yeah, sorry about that, yeah. If you even just look at Mr. Beast, okay, my kids are little and they love Mr. Beast. He has over 1 billion, he has like billions of followers on I need to double check. He has millions and millions of followers on YouTube. He has a game show now where he's giving away $5 million as the grand prize for this new game show he's doing. He just has like this ridiculous following, but people follow him. And if currency fails, who are they going to follow? They're going to follow whoever has the biggest influence. And my question to all of you is, who do you want to be holding the microphone?
I see.
Right.
You mentioned something about the revolution and the idea of building the community and that microphone and holding this, being together, this community listening to that, holding the microphone, and then who is our youngsters are listening to and who is holding that microphone. And I think it's very important of who is going to be holding that microphone. And I think the part of your revolution is who's grabbing that microphone, and if we are going to be the one holding that microphone and building that community, or are we going to be, oh, are we doing that again? No, the delay in the microphone, and or are we going to be on the other side and listening to that person holding the microphone, and that the community part of it. I think that was your third point of having the community. And I think when we spoke earlier, you had mentioned that important part of it, not just being that voice holding the microphone, but also having like-minded people around you listening to you holding that microphone. Would you tell us a little bit more of importance and your plans? Because I know the part of this change, of this joyful revolution, as you mentioned, of joy, of uniting those in joy and being able to build that support mechanism around us and having that community.
Yes, because we can see the power of those communities, right? Like I just mentioned Mr. Beast, but if you think of all of the people, all of your favorite leaders that you follow online, or just your coaches or the people that you're watching online. I mean, I think about Wicked that just came out, and how much, there's this huge movement around Wicked right now, and they're taking the microphone and everyone's excited about what's going on with that movie right now. But, if we think about all of these leaders, it's the people with the microphone. Taylor Swift, perfect example. She has a massive following, and imagine what good she could do and the good that she is doing with her microphone, right? And so I think we can all see and understand that the community behind that we're building is one of our biggest assets that we have to create. And I think the reason that we don't build that community is because we just don't know how. We're like, where do you get started? How do you be Taylor Swift, right? I'm not going to be a famous singer, but I'm going to have you're going to have a microphone as a speaker. But how do you start building that following? And I think also we feel like, oh, it's going to take so long, or how do I do that? I don't want to spend all day on social media. Where do we really get started whenever we're building these communities? And the way that I teach people how to do it, and the way that I've done it successfully in several niches, I don't care what niche it is, whether it's plant-based health or marketing or speaking, is I start by inviting people to an event, a community event, a network party. Okay, the network. Okay, because if you think about everybody who's vying for your attention, people are asking you in your messenger chat all the time, they're inviting you to stuff all the time, right? Events, or look at me, look at me, look at me. What the network party really does is I'm saying, here, come and I'll look at you, right? Come and I'll look at you. We'll look at each other. We'll help each other. We're community. We're building each other. And so I love using a network party because it brings people together who are community people they're community people, they're event people, and they're people who want to come together to, that's what community is, but they're community people, they're event people, and they're people that show up to. And those are the people that you want in your movement. You want people who are going to be community people, who are going to contribute, who are going to show up, who are going to share with each other, and who are going to come to events, because you're going to use events to speak and to share your message, right? And so you want those kind of people to show up. And so honestly, anyone right now, you can organize online or off and say, hey, I'm going to do this network party around my movement. We're going to talk, we're going to come together. We're going to talk about these issues. We're going to support each other. I'm going to help you do X, right? Give them a promise. But it's a very easy ask because, again, I'm putting you on my stage. I'm asking you to come to my stage. I'm asking to spotlight you instead of the other way around. And people, just to give you some numbers, for every 10 people that I invite, 3 people join my Facebook group. And
I think your network party needs to be spoken on a little bit more, because when people hear a network event, everybody's like, oh, even those who somewhat okay with the networking event, nobody wants to do the networking event in reality, because everybody thinks that, okay, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to give my elevator pitch, and it's just like, but I think we need to talk a little bit more about your networking parties, because you have a fundamentally totally different idea behind your networking part. Because me being an introvert, I have a special feeling about the networking event. However, yours are amazing. And I'm speaking it from, for an introvert to say an amazing networking event, it has something. It has a
yes. Actually, I have a lot of introverts who come to my network parties. And
yes, let's talk about you have a different idea. So I want you to tell us, and everybody else out there listening, this is very important. Everybody pay attention. This is the most important part. Why this is the only networking event you should attend if you pick one. If you pick one. Okay, tell us all about
so come check it out, see what happens, so you can figure it out and model yours as well. Well, yes. One of my number one values, and the reason I call it the joyful revolution, is because it's fun. Like, fun is one of my number one values. I want to be able to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I think that's probably true of most people. You want to be doing something that you love, right? And we could go to any network party, but if I'm going to one, I want to have fun, right? And that's why I call it a network party. I don't call it a network event. I call it a party, because I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to be able to come. I want you to enjoy yourself. And as and you asked me what's so different, but as a network host, what I'm thinking is, how can we have fun? How can I serve these people? Because also, here's I'm going to take an aside for a second, but whenever you start your business and you start your movements, this is typically what happens, right? In our entrepreneur brains, we think, okay, I have something that's going to make a difference, and I'm going to go teach these people, and I'm going to change the world. We get so excited about it. Then you go out there to start your business or to do coaching or whatever it is that you're wanting to do. And then you realize there's this thing called marketing and sales that you have to do before you can really help someone on a deep level. And so then we spend all of our time worrying about the marketing and sales and trying to figure out the tech and posting on social media. And then we start doing this where we're like, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm really cool. Come over here. I can help you, right? And it feels yucky. Nobody really likes it. You get sidetracked, and then you're just bogged down. And so a lot of us kind of get into this mentality of the get mentality, because then you've been in your business long enough and you're like, oh, now my business needs to make money because I've invested, and now I need to get it back. And it's like, it's this whole thing. Am I getting it right? right?
Yes,
right? You're like, oh. Exactly. It's this whole thing. So then a lot of us end up, even though you have a great heart and you're impact driven and you have a movement and you have pure intentions, what happens is we end up kind of setting those aside because we're just so frustrated and can't figure out how to do the thing. So all of that being said, then what we have to do is shift our mindset back to the original mindset of, I'm here to help people. I'm here to serve people. I'm here to change the world. And so that's what the network party is all about. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about, how can I help them take some baby steps right now in whatever it is that you're helping them make the change in. So how can we have fun? How can I help them get some wins right now? How can I connect them to other amazing people who can help them? And so in my network parties, I actually have a really specific framework that I use that's going to help people connect right away and learn something. It gives them, we go into breakout rooms where the people who are introverted, they don't have to share in front of the whole group. They can just be one-on-one, and then we can come back and share our things. I always create something so they can get a win right now. And for me, it's for speakers, it's, hey, speakers want to get on stages. So I create it so that everybody gets on a stage whenever they're at their networking party. Okay. That makes people want to come back. So you're building trust with them. You're building love with them. You're pouring into them the whole time. And then from there, they're in your community. You have your regulars that are coming. They love you. This is how you build your raving fans, is you serve them. I know I mean, I have a specific way of doing it, but in a nutshell, you serve people. Okay. That's the secret. Yeah.
And I think that's in a nutshell of how you work and operate, because every time I get a chance to interact with you, I feel this empowerment and uplifting. Because what happens often, and being in a business and working with other, and being an introvert, there's always this, okay, I need to work more, so I seek guidance. I go through a lot of can you give me the feedback? So often it's people telling you what you did wrong, but every time I have a chance to interact with you, there is this sense of, okay, this is how I can uplift you. This is how I can help you. This is how I can give you these little wins. And I think this is what makes you different. And this is what helps those who need that encouragement, those who work with encouragement the best, are the reasons why they should come join the revolution, and why they should come be a part of the community, and why it is important what you do to help those who do have important messages and who do want to make a difference and make the world a better
100%,
place.
because I'm going to chime in while you're frozen for a second. Yeah, because what it takes, we talked about this earlier, people want to be listened to. If you think about our main desires as humans, we want to be safe, we want to be seen, right? And we want to contribute.
We want to be heard.
Yeah, we want to be seen and heard, we want to be safe, and we want to contribute. So if you can give that to people through your movement, then they'll follow you, right? If you create a safe space where they're seen and heard, and you understand them, just like you're saying, you're able to listen to them, and you give them a place where they can contribute as well, and people love that. And so you're really just giving them, like I said, I'm putting them on stage, I'm letting them share, I'm giving them a voice in whichever space they feel comfortable to share it. And that's what you can do with your movement. And the leaders of your movement will then rise. They'll come out. You'll be able to immediately see who's passionate about the same thing you're passionate about, right? And those leaders will rise, and they'll help you, and your clients will rise, and they'll say, Anna, I see what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I love who you are. I've got to work with you. I had one woman come up to me, actually. I had one woman approach me a few weeks ago, and she's like, Michelle, I want, let's book a call, because I want to work with you. And then she told me what she needed, and I was like, well, I don't really, that's not exactly what I do. I think this person would be better for you. And she's like, no, Michelle, I don't want him. Whatever we can do together, let's do it, And so it was just like such a testimony of, hey, we connected, and there's trust here, and whatever I can help her with, that's what she wants help with. And back to your point of selling, right? I'm not even selling her anything.
Right, but you made her feel, so she wanted you because you made her feel. And that's the idea of community. People feel with you, and that's what you're helping other coaches, speakers to bring their message, so they can have that feel with their community. And I think that's inspiring. So I understand that the January is pretty amazing months for you, because you have all these things planned. Would you tell us what's coming up?
So I am launching this portion of my program, where I'm going to help walk people through how do you create this community for your movement, because I think that's really foundational, and it gives you, like I said, the raving fans and all the things that we talked about today. And you're creating your own stage really with these people. So I'm going to launch a program for that this month in January, but also because I love collaborations, part of that is we're doing I'm hosting a workshop series for your business to thrive in 2025. So I had several people who came to me and said, I want to collaborate with you. Let's do something together. And I had a few people, and I said, hey, let's just all do this as a workshop series. So we have a series of 4 workshops happening in January, Wednesdays, 11 a.m. The first one is about goal setting and energy, just clearing your energy so you can reach your goals. Then we've got an organizational guy coming in who's got this fantastic system of just how to organize your whole business into one place so that you know what's going on and can make decisions and organize yourself. And then I'm teaching about communities and walking you through how do you launch that community in 2025 so that you can have a consistent flow of people into your community and your movement. And then we're also have a lady that's going to talk about retreats and just hosting fun retreats for your communities and for your business that pay for themselves. So that's what we have kind of launching that. And it's actually $25. I'm working on the page today. So actually you got me a little bit ahead of time. So I don't have it, this page up yet, but it's $25 for the whole thing. And then you get the worksheets and stuff like that. But if you'll go to inspirespeakernetwork.com, that's where you can RSVP for the next network party. We're going to announce it at the party and share the link there. And as well as, you can hang out and get all the benefits of the network party, obviously. Yeah.
I think it's a perfect way to start a year. If nothing else, to get inspired, to meet a wonderful people, to get energized, and to learn a few things. Every time I visit, I come up with like a piece of paper with all kind of notes, with contacts, with new bookings for podcasts and meetings. And it's a wonderful opportunity to get out of the shell every time, to get on the stage, to learn, to practice. So it's wonderful opportunity. So I think what you've created it's an amazing space for all of us to feel heard, to feel.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it so much.
It's a community.
And I hope you can hear me, Anna. I was going to say thank you. I appreciate it so much. I'm so glad you've gotten so much out of it. And really everybody leaves with a stage, which is my goal as well. So I'm really happy that that's true for you too.
So what are some words of inspiration, encouragement, wisdom, pearls of wisdom that you would like to share, or maybe a tip or a teaching that you would want your listeners to have from you?
Yeah, so I feel like I shared most of them, but what I think just re-quoting what I quoted before of I personally struggle a lot with inadequacy and feeling like not enough and the imposter syndrome. I think we all do. And really ordinary people. So I guess the story I want to end with is, I don't know if you're familiar with Malala, but she is this young girl and she lived in this very repressed, when the Taliban were repressing, and they made it so girls couldn't go to school anymore. And even though she was a child, she got up and she started speaking out against the Taliban. So much so that they ended up sending someone after her and shooting her. She almost died in a shooting. But I just love her story because it shows us that, she's just a kid, that she wasn't even getting educated in school because they had taken that away from her. And she knew she had a message, she had a movement, she had a voice that she needed to get it out there. And so it doesn't matter what age you are, whether you're young or old or in the middle. And it doesn't matter if you have a certain certification or skills. If you feel called to change something, then that qualifies you to make the change happen. So I just want to encourage you to take the next step forward. What do you have that they don't? And just take the next step forward to becoming that leader and creating that movement that you desire to create.
That is powerful. And I do know her. My daughter just finished reading the book in school. So we've written papers, we've taken tests. So yes, that no message is ever small, because somebody needs to hear your story. Somebody definitely needs to hear your story to help them keep going. So what you're doing is creating that community for all of us to feel powerful. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Yes, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on.